Crypto is here to stay. These were Brian Armstrong, the CEO and founder of Coinbase. These were his words on Twitter yesterday. Speaking of Coinbase just becoming the first and only crypto company to join the S&P 500. And if you don't know, the S&P 500 is the Standard & Poor and is an index and is an index basket of all the top 500 companies in America. Crypto is here to stay. We see strong institutional interest and inflows. Geopolitical tensions are subsiding. And we are entering a period where the crypto market is going to be highly volatile and also presenting opportunities for generational wealth making opportunities for all of us in this market that are locked in and will take advantage of this. Crypto is here to stay and is here to make us generational wealth. My name is Opi. I'm a prop trader from Hashedge, and I'm here every day showing up, locked in, paying attention to the market, making sure we don't lose any opportunity, and taking advantage of the high volatile space where we can make money, long or short, in this market. Let's just jump right into the content. I'm so stoked this morning because everything we see around us is showing us bullish conviction of the overall crypto market and strengthen our position while we are here. Coinbase just became the first and only company to join the S&P 500. The milestone represents what the true believers, from retail investors to institutional investors to our employees and partners, knew all along. Crypto is here to stay, he says. Then we go on other thoughts that he says. Crypto is about to be in everyone's 401k. That's retirement, I think, in America. My goal is that in 5 to 10 years, getting into Coin 50 index will feel as good as this. Crypto is here to stay, and Coinbase is joining the S&P 500. And we see Jesse Pollack, the major dev on Base, which is Coinbase layer 1, is saying Coinbase is the first on-chain company to join the S&P 500. Next step, bring the S&P 500 on-chain. Yes, let's go. That's what we should do. We should bring the S&P 500 on-chain, and that will bring in millions and millions of dollars into this cryptocurrency market. Of course, in turn, making all of our bags explode, and all our bags and all of our money, and we'll make more money with all of this. We are here. We are at the early stage of all of this. We are here to take advantage of the upswing that is coming, and we watch it literally. We are literally watching it every day flow into the market. That's why we are here, and I hope you are here with me on this journey from zero to Ferrari. Let's just go straight into Coinbase new commercial video that they just released on Bitcoin.
Every day, the Fed prints an average of $465 million. That's 26,000 shipping containers a year, created out of thin air. Maybe that's why the dollar loses value over time. But there's one thing they can never print more of: Bitcoin. At the size of a quarter, this is all there will ever be. Shouldn't a store of value hold its value?
The future of money is here. We are here to stay. Crypto is here to stay. Because you cannot even compare Bitcoin's fixed supply at 21 million compared to an inflationary asset like fiat currency or the dollar or whatever, Nigerian naira, whatever currency we are talking about. You cannot compare it. That's why we are bullish. And Anthony Scaramucci is also telling Bloomberg that Bitcoin is on track for 1 billion users and a 23 trillion market cap. Guys, we are early. I don't know how to shout this off the rooftop. I don't know how to say it in a different way. But I hope you are ready, you are locked in to take advantage of this.
What we see is the evolution of Bitcoin from being sort of a tech asset tied to the Mag 7 or tied to the NASDAQ to something that's more akin to digital gold. And as that starts to happen, and I predict that will happen as wallets expand. Let's say there's roughly 300 million or so wallets for Bitcoin right now. Imagine a world where there's a billion wallets, a billion holders. The volatility should dampen. That happened in Microsoft. That happened in things like Google over a 20-year period of time. And so you could see a scenario where more wallets, lots of institutions in the mix, long-term holders, dampening volatility, and then you have this positive flywheel where the volatility is dampened by long-term holders who are owning it in size, and so therefore that reinforces the idea that other long-term holders should come in. I guess the big thing you have to ask yourself, is Bitcoin an investment or is it an asset class? If it's an investment, then $1 to $3 trillion, that sort of makes sense. That's akin to a Mag 7 market capitalization. But if it's an asset class, then it should trade to closer to where gold is, and I think gold's, I don't know, $22, $23 trillion right now.
It's an asset class. That's what it's saying. And it's talking about institutional inflows coming in and one track for 1 billion. You see also Coinbase employee Josh Di Agostino saying that the surge in Bitcoin ETF volume is impressive. even as at the time, asset managers are not yet recommending it to clients.
The one important thing to remember about these ETF inflows, not just the surge we've seen recently, but since the beginning, because it's been an absolutely phenomenally performing ETF. And this is a very important point that's overlooked. This is being done with the asset managers not allowing their salespeople, their financial advisors, to recommend it. So that's extraordinary. That's like a shoe salesman not being able to recommend Nike, right? So that's going to change at some point. And I'll sort of leave it to your viewers to determine what happens when that thundering herd of brokers can actually pick up the phone and recommend this ETF.
Yeah, when the thundering herd of brokers start to recommend Bitcoin ETF, what will it do to the price of Bitcoin? What will it do to the price of Bitcoin? Crypto is here to stay. Bitcoin is here to go to the moon. We are seeing it is no longer, Bitcoin is turning something right before our eyes. It's turning from no longer being a speculative asset and being the macro king. And as Antonio Scaramucci said, being an asset class in comparison to gold. Like we always say, is the digital gold. Then we see New York Mayor also saying his goal is to make New York the crypto capital of the globe. It's all everywhere you look around us. All of them are jumping on the bandwagon.
My goal remains the same as it was on day one as mayor, making New York City the crypto capital of the globe. And as you remember, I supported crypto long before any of my mayoral peers. I was the first American mayor to have my initial 3 paychecks converted into crypto way back in 2022. Many people laughed at me, and all I can say is, who's laughing now?
I guess he's laughing now because, of course, his bags are being pumping, and they will continue to pump as long as we move upwards in price action. We move ahead and we look at the SEC. They had a roundtable yesterday, I believe, on tokenization, and the main points that were laid out in this roundtable, especially from the chairman of the SEC, Paul Atkins, is stated to create clearer guidance for crypto issuance and explore new registration exemptions and safe harbors, provide consumers with expanded custody options, including self-custody and potential updates to the qualified custodian definition, explore integrated trading platforms and the modernization of ATS regulations to better accommodate crypto assets. So literally what we are watching before our eyes is that the SEC is pro-crypto at this point. They are a pro-crypto stance. This is what it's saying. And you see also the SEC Commissioner Esther Pierce also saying tokenization cannot reach its full potential without legal clarity.
Tokenization cannot reach its full potential without legal clarity. Issuers and transfer agents continue to be unsure about whether a crypto network can be the master security holder file or a component thereof for purposes of the Exchange Act's transfer agents rules, and even where state law has expressly provided or contemplated the use of a crypto network in connection with the maintenance of securities ownership records. Further, the Commission's Special Purpose Broker-Dealer Statement, which defines crypto asset security to encompass any security.
A key priority of my chairmanship will be to develop a rational regulatory framework for crypto asset markets that establishes clear rules of the road for issuance, custody, and trading of crypto assets, while continuing to discourage bad actors from violating the law. Clear rules of the road are necessary for investor protection against fraud, not the least to help them identify scams that do not comport with the law.
We need clear rules right now so that we'll be able to, there will be a regulatory framework. We know where we are going to. There will be a vision. Everybody knows where the boundaries to work in and what to do and what not to do. We need this because we also need this because we need institutional inflows to come in droves. That's all they are waiting for. Once there are clear rules, regulatory legislation, everything, of course, starting from the big wigs like America and Europe and all the big countries, then it will reverberate and it will just take a ripple effect because all governments around the world follow each other. So governments in developing countries, in the global south and co, all of them will just pick up the same legislation, put a little tweaks into it, but it will still pretty much be the same thing. But they are just waiting for the leader and for the hegemon, which is the US right now, to come up with this legislation and to approve. And once they do so, as they say in UAE colors, it will be done. Everything will be end of story. And we just see you in Valhalla. You see, Crypto Aros is talking about how businesses are the largest net buyer of Bitcoin in 2025, with MicroStrategy making up 77% of the growth. This is incredible. You see how corporate conviction is stacking up relative to other segments and other different type of businesses, entities out there. We need, what we expect and what we want is a broader institutional adoption to sustain this growth, because MicroStrategy doing it alone is not also sustainable, right? So we expect more other people to step up, other institutions. We have been seeing them stepping up, but all this will just ramp up from now on, and this will just increase the price, and it will be evident in the price action. As you can see, Bob Loukas is showing us in the price action, and he's saying, as at Monday, yesterday, conviction and momentum have returned, and the Bitcoin weekly cycle is on only week 5 of 24 in an average. If it can clear the all-time high, although likely not to look back for a couple of months. So his analysis is his speculation is that once we clear the all-time high hurdle, there's no looking back, at least for the next couple of months. So it will be around maybe July, August, September, around that period before we make a top. Then it will now follow prior cycles and maybe a correction from there before we move back up. This is what he's speculating, and we use this as part of our analysis to gauge the trend and what is going on. And we can see with the Google trends, Google searches for digital gold at an all-time high. So in retail is slowly coming back in, and interest is also increasing as we move along. Then we just finally look at XRP, looking at what is going on in XRP, because XRP ETFs has been doing fantastic. XRP is one of the major institutional backed projects that we have in this space, and this is something I hold and something I really believe. I hold on spot, and I really believe. I trade it also, and I really believe that XRP is on track to be worth millions and to control cross-border payments and to do a lot of transaction, and to the XRP ledger is going to be very, very synonymous with a lot of banking activities and financial activities across the border in the world, everywhere. In fact, it will be the back door of a lot of things that you might not be aware of, but XRP is going to do very well. And you can see it just overtook Tether to become the third largest crypto by market cap. And this was boosted by Missouri's crypto tax bill and the new acceptance on traveler.com. This is incredibly bullish for XRP. and something we continue to watch in the XRP. Then you just look at the crypto fear and greed indexes. We remain at 70 levels as at yesterday, so we still remain in greed territory. And just looking at the overall crypto market right now, everything is literally red at the moment. So we seem to be correcting and we seem to be going sideways at the moment. So all this is just consolidating and preparing for a move either upside or to the downside, depending on the chart and looking at what is happening across the board. So this is healthy for the market, and it's something that it seems corrective. Looking at SUI, you can see also we seem to be correcting. We went to the high of around $4.01 and we pulled back from there, and you can see right now we're at $3.08. And with the RSI, we seem to be pointing down. Volume is dropping right now, so it shows this is very, very good, and it's very, very healthy for the market. So we'll be looking for further pullback, immediate pullback to maybe around the levels of $3.06, and we'll be looking for another further pullback if he misses that support and he breaks that support. We'll be looking for a further pullback to around $3.05, and within that range for it to confirm that support, and we'll be looking for a further pullback to the upside in the immediate near term. Looking at Ethereum, you can see also is also mimicking the same thing. There's a further pullback, RSI pointing below, volume is already dropping, is already declining a little bit. So you see this is also happening for Ethereum. So what is actually interesting on the Ethereum chart is to look at the EMA 200 EMAs, and if it closes below the line, this blue line, that will be indication of a further pullback to the immediate short term. So the immediate short term for us will be calculating at the $2,100 levels, $2,150 levels for a confirmation of that support. So after then, we'll be able to know what we are doing in the immediate near to medium term. If we are going up, if we are going to return back and we're going to bounce back up, or we are going to break that support and we are going to go down, then we'll be looking for resistance and support levels again at below that level. So that will be interesting for Ethereum chart. Looking at finally the godfather, the big daddy of all of them, which is Bitcoin, you can see the chart also, we see a pullback. RSI seems to be dropping, volume not so much at the moment. But what is happening in the chart on the daily, you can see we dropped all the way from $105. So it hits my support, and it has turned that into resistance in the near term, in the line I draw, which it was resistance, and it got rejected at the resistance at $105,000 levels, and now we are dropping and we seem to be correcting around the $101,000 levels, and we'll be looking for a further confirmation of $100,000 if we break that support at $100,000, and if we don't confirm it as support, we'll be looking for a further pullback to around 99,000 thereabouts. So that is quite interesting, and we'll be looking for what Bitcoin will be doing. RSI seems to be pointing downwards, so that also is showing us an indicator of further, which I anticipated, because I knew, like I saw the statistics, I saw the charts, I knew we would get to a correction anytime in the near term. So this is actually playing out. So anyone that took a short position on my $105,000 levels, congratulations. You should take profit a little bit. You should take profit off the table and play with house money right now. We look like we are going to be consolidating for the next 2 days. Any maybe bullish narrative, any news that comes out, maybe from the Trump administration, from geopolitics, from macroeconomics, because this week is going to be an economic data heavy. So maybe that would affect prices to the upside or to the downside. We don't know yet, but we'll keep monitoring the chart to make sure like we are ahead of the crowd. We are smart investors, and we take advantage of the volatility that exists within the space, and we become millionaires. That is why we are here, to create generational wealth, to make money. But most importantly, we have to remember to manage our risk accordingly, and to take profit levels, and to set our stop losses so that we are ahead of the market and we make money, not lose money. That's why we are here, showing up every day, watching these videos. Give it a thumbs up, like, subscribe, and follow us, because on our journey from zero to Ferrari. See you tomorrow. Goodbye.